and I'm going to put it into the files section of the team page so that you can reference to it for when you have someone who says, hey, I want to share the product. And I also want you to be looking at this through your own experience and ask yourself, have I done these things? And if not, then I want you to go to the person who introduced you to Isagenix and make sure that you've gone through all those steps and maybe cleaned up some of the parts that you've missed. So that being said, step one, social media is an awesome tool for sharing, obviously. But also, I know that not everyone is going to use social media, and that's okay. But in terms of the systems that we're going to use, social media is the easiest thing to use to share with people. You can take this exact same concept if you don't want to post on social media in your public page. You can take this exact same concept and send it to someone individually or via text message. But and so just, use your own discretion as to what you feel comfortable using. The first step is to make your post in the story format. So you know that structure that we went through in our previous training, focusing on the pain points. And I'd recommend that you watch and share with your team the share your story video to just save you time. So Brett, just like how I did with you, before I go through your story with you, can you watch this video? And then you did the same thing when you passed it on to the person that you were going through that with.
Yeah.
So first step, why? Well, people start Isagenix with me because they're real clear as to why I started. A lot of the time we can get caught up in what Isagenix is, how it works. We can end up talking about the products. We can also spend a lot of time trying to think of clever ways to approach people about Isagenix. But at the end of the day, your friends, family, people who are the closest to you, and that they know you the best, and they don't want to be sold to, especially not by you. They don't want to feel like they've been sold to by you. But they will totally change their tune on that if they hear why you started. That totally lowers down resistance, lowers those barriers, and can start a real open dialogue. So using your story to create this post can help generate a lot more traction.
What's that?
Just also know that when you share this post, although you may get one or two, maybe more customers from your post, it's not the what's the word? Intention. It's not the intention to. Be letting people know what it is that you're doing and why. Okay, so if you do get customers from it, great. But if not, that's okay. It's just to let people know what you're doing. People are always watching. Okay, so people like to see what you're doing. I'm just going to mute you, Charmaine. So people are always watching what you're doing. If you put something genuine on social media, people love that. It's like watching reality TV. People don't like to see like one or the best side of you. They like to see all sides of you. And so I find that people who I engage with a lot on social media are the people who are being real genuine and vulnerable sometimes. It's also really good for accountability. People feel when you are talking directly to them. So if you are vulnerable and share your pain points and why it is that you got started, then people will feel that. Also, being vulnerable allows them to be vulnerable with you. Okay, so here are some examples. If someone wants to share right away but doesn't have before and after photo, sometimes you'll get people who are like, yep, I know that this is going to be awesome. Me and Beck and Joe, who I can think of off the top of my head, we all decided that we were going to get started and we would really like some people to get started with us. And so here's an approach that you can use if that's the case. You can use a before and after photo of your friend. So for example, Joe, Mike introduced you. So you could use a before and after photo of Mike. okay, you could use a picture of you and your mate. So whichever one that you choose, and then you might use this structure. So you might have a good opening line that says, so I'm sick of feeling gross, tired, and watching my girlfriend or watching my mate feel awesome. It was a rough 2018, and then list your 3 pain points, and then the person who introduced you. So then my girlfriend Taryn introduced me to a system she'd used with great results, as you can see. Watch the space or join me so we can do this together. So that would be an example of how you could structure a post if you wanted to share right away, and you wanted to have someone do it with you. Any questions around that?
Taz, can we get these put somewhere, whether they are in the modern movement? So there's examples.
Yeah, I'm going to put them in the business page, in our team page.
Yeah, great. Thanks.
Cool. Okay, so then you've got your before and after. So, you know, you can use your story. I actually want you to use your story. If you ask the friend who introduced you, so Beck, for example, we modeled off mine and Mike's. Brett, when we did yours, we modeled off of ours as well. So you can model off the person who introduced you. But this was another one that I saw that I did use as well, and I saw it at Celebration, I think. So funny story, really. That's the opening line. I tried to lose weight the old-fashioned way, you know, gym, cardio, and lots of salad. Yawn. As a mum, I was always conscious of what I put in my body to hopefully get the most energy possible. Then my friend Bianca introduced me to this, and as a result, I look the best I've ever looked. I have great energy, and I've traded the gym, yoga, and chasing after my little dude. It's been like a fairy tale. I'm actually just happy that I've found something that works. Only wish I'd tried it sooner. Now, obviously, you can use the same structure, but just change the details. Okay, so I copied the guy's structure. I actually copied Lloyd's. This is Lloyd's post. And then I used his structure, changed the details. So it can be as simple as this for someone that doesn't want to go too deep or who feels a little bit nervous about posting on, about, you know, going real deep into their story. Okay, so key thing is that when you are doing your post, that you do it with the person who introduced you. So, you know, Beck, when you did your post, you and I worked on it together, right? So when you bring somebody on who wants to share, then the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to work with them personally or over the phone or use, video calling to go through and help them put their story together so that they feel real comfortable about it being presented in a real clear way. So do it with them is key. Okay, any questions before we continue? Sweet.
Actually, yeah, Taryn, I'm having difficulty hearing you. Is anybody else? Your volume keeps going up and down, or is it just my earbuds? Anyone else?
Yeah, it keeps going up and down, Taz.
Okay.
That's all right. Hopefully the recording will be okay, because I haven't sort of really taken it in because it's really hard to hear. But that's all right. I keep going, and hopefully the recording's okay.
Okay. How about now? If I'm speaking closer to
that's good.
Oh, cool. Okay, just move the computer closer to me. Okay. So step 2 is the easy 10 list. So who do you feel the most at ease talking to?
That's better. That's better. Now I can hear.
Okay, cool. All right. So what we want to do is we want to sit with our new person and talk to them about their, the 10 people who they feel real at ease talking to. And when I talk about easy 10, it doesn't necessarily mean who do you think will do this, right? It just is who do you feel comfortable talking to? Who is that person? Who are those people? And then write their names down, because they know, like, and trust you. So it's going to be a great opportunity for you to share why it is that you started Isagenix with them. If you have a conversation with them and just say, hey, Mum, I have no idea whether this is going to be something for you or not, but I've just started something and I need to tell you about it. So you know how when I got back from Indonesia in 2018, it was a freaking horrible year. And I don't know if you know this, but like at 5 o'clock, when I would pick up Orly from Kimberley every day, man, we crash heads, and it was a real battle. And obviously then I'd be launching into my story. Can you see that? So who do you know that you feel comfortable talking with? They're the most likely to join you, and you're most likely to share what you love with the people that you spend the most time with, because you talk to them. They know you well. You can talk to them openly and freely.
I can put it softer, George.
You just got to have that confidence to reach out to them initially. Okay, any questions before we move into step 3?
No charge.
Okay, so once that person, hey, Charmaine, I'm just going to put your computer on mute just because I can hear a lot of background noise, and then when you want to talk, just unmute it.
There's no one here.
Ah, okay, that's okay. All right, so step 3 is plan to talk. So discuss your easy 10 list with your experienced observer. Okay, so if you were brand new, none of you are, but if you were brand new, then your experienced observer might be the person above you. Okay, so for example, Beck, if you were brand new and didn't feel confident having this conversation with people, then, or if you didn't have as much experience, then you would have Mike have this conversation with your person. Okay, the point is someone who's experienced, because everyone's different. So everyone on that easy 10 is going to respond well to a different approach, because they're all different. You might have someone who is someone who you perceive is here, and they may be someone that you speak to really openly and freely, and you may have a great relationship with them, but they may not be someone who you feel like you might feel nervous about going to them. Or it could be someone who, you know, is a parent or a sibling, so you're really close to them and they are easy to talk to, but you feel nervous because that you feel like they're really judgmental. So whatever it is, each person who is on that list, you want to have a conversation about them with the experienced observer. So if you had your 10 people, which you have, we've always had a conversation about what's the best way to approach and to have that conversation. And how have you found being able to talk it out with me?
Can you say that again, Taz? I missed that last bit.
So, you know, when you've wanted to speak to someone who wants to share, you and I have had a conversation about what the best way is to approach them, and how have you felt about approaching them after we've had that conversation?
Yeah, much better.
Right. And so you want to be that person for your new person.
Totally. Yeah.
If they want to share, then talking it out with them and actually taking the time to sit down with your new person and go through each of those 10. Yeah, it's going to take like about an hour, but worth it if they want to share.
Totally. Yep.
Okay. Okay. So step 4, feedback. So once we've gone and
Caleb.
we've gone and had those conversations, you want to be able to discuss them so that you can give some feedback. All right. So
Taz, can I ask a quick question? Sorry, before you go into this next part.
Yeah.
This could be for customers that simply just want to do the you share, they share?
Yeah.
Yep.
Totally. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. So when you are discussing those conversations, it is way easier for that person to like it can soften the blow significantly when people say no, because quite often when we think about what our own experience has been with Isagenix, so let's say for example today I caught up with Joe She had a great experience. Like, she had virtually the same experience as what I did when I started. And so if that's what I felt, and then I go and speak to my Easy 10 and people tell me, no, they don't want to get started, you know, if I come back devastated, that could be the end of sharing right there. Or if you create the scenario where you're giving feedback to your person and helping them work through it and helping them see that it's not the end of the world, it grows their skills faster, it prepares them for rejection, it helps to create a third party edification, it validates the process. It just is way better if you're going to commit to spending the time helping your new person to talk to those people, then make sure that you make the time to debrief after they've had those conversations. Okay. And then the last step, social proofing. Any questions on the last step? Okay, so social proofing. So this was a really cool one that I saw, and we do this, but we could do it a lot more. So obviously we already add people into the wellness marketplace. You know, all of our customers go into this group. The business builders go into the what's it called?
Modern movement.
The modern lifestyle movement. Obviously, all the business builders go into there, or people who are you share, they sharing. But adding all of our customers and people who are like those Easy 10, having your guys and having you yourself add your people who you talk to into this group, it really allows for social proof. So what we can do is we can actually like help people see that most people will not get started on their first conversation. So if we bring people if we share our story or share the Facebook post and are having those conversations, and then we invite them into the group, then they become a part of that funnel, right? They'll also see other people's stories because your friend may not have been able to relate to yours fully. You know, if your goals have been around toning up and losing a bit of body fat, someone whose goals have been to lose a lot of body fat aren't really going to relate to you, but they might be able to relate to Charmaine or myself, you know. So depending on who they're going to relate to could happen in that group. So what I really want us to do is to start sharing our stories in the group. Okay, and so we can talk about that just in a minute. It also helps overcome objections. So say, for example, when you're talking to your customers, like how often do we talk to people who are feeling a little nervous about cleansing?
All the time.
Yeah. And so I might say, hey, you know, don't worry about the cleansing. You'll be fine. But almost everybody feels nervous about cleansing, and they might think, oh, well, Taryn, she can do cleansing because she's a weapon, but I'm not. So this might not work out for me. I often wonder how many people don't get started just for fear that they couldn't do it, right? So what you can do is you can post in the group and say, hey, I've got a friend who's considering using this system, but she's really nervous about cleansing. Can anyone share what their experience with cleansing has been? So you can use the group to handle people's objections. Yeah. I spoke to a friend today who feels that the system is expensive. And has anyone else in the group found that, but then used the system and overcome it? How? ? And then let people post their things. You know, it doesn't, the things that people say don't always need to be spot on, but 9 times out of 10, they're going to be authentic because they're going to be people's experiences. And obviously the ones that do, you know, raise a little bit of eyebrows, well, you know, we'll moderate it in the group. If it's real hairy and super negative, obviously I'm going to address that and we're going to delete it. But for the most part, sometimes when people have hairy things to say, it actually develops a real normal and balanced conversation.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just got a text now. I'm smiling because I just got a text from a friend of mine. She was very, very keen yesterday, one of the teachers from another school. And she was just going to check in with her husband. So this evening I sent her a text saying, can't wait for you to join the journey and to see the transformation. And she's taken quite long, but she's just texted me back now to say that her husband's doing a bit of research. What's the comeback there?
It depends on,
My husband's just doing a bit of research, and I'll let you know.
yeah, it depends on what research he finds. You know?
I
So
can't hear you, Taryn. You're going soft again.
it depends on what research he finds, you know. So if they come back with a specific objection, then if you need some help handling it, you could post it in the group. So if someone says, hey, I was looking online and I found that these products have got such and such in it, or the ingredients are blah, 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 or I've heard that blah, 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 then you could put it in and say, does anyone know about this, or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So it shows people that it's not just you that love the system. Other people do too. Okay. It just provides so much social proof. So, guys, those are the 5 steps. Easy? Clear? Easy and clear?
Yep.
Okay, cool. All right. So what I thought we could talk about next is just have a bit of a team huddle about the wellness marketplace so that we can leverage off it just as best as possible. So I had a chat with Bianca a little while ago, and I haven't done anything about it because it just hasn't been a priority. But actually, now that I see how well the wellness marketplace can be leveraged, it's a bloody priority, which is why we're having this conversation. Welcoming people into the group. I stopped welcoming people in because I felt after having a chat with Bianca that the page was just being flooded with new people being welcomed in. And the intention for the page was to be a support page. And so if you put yourself in your new person's position, you've just started Isagenix, you hop in, and all you see is new people being welcomed, like how is that helping you on your journey?
Is this on the wellness page?
Yeah, on the wellness page.
Oh.
Now sometimes, every now and again, there'll be a post with some value. Like, for example, Brett might put something up about his IsaBody. Brett, I know that you contribute to the IsaBody page, so you could actually just take that exact same post and put it into the wellness page to leverage your time and be contributing to the page. Joe, I see you do some of your workout posts and products that you tried. I think it was the e-shot or something. And so you posted that into the wellness page. So guys, however it is, and Beck and myself and we take people through the 30-day system. However it is that you feel inspired to add value to the page, I want you to figure that out and make sure that somehow you are contributing to your customers' journey. And if you don't have a lot of customers in there yet, that's okay. Just think about it from your perspective. What would you have liked to have seen that would have really helped you when you started? What would have actually been valuable for you to know or see? And so I really want you guys to, I'm not going to tell you how frequently to post. I'm not going to tell you any of that. But I do want to say, make your own commitment to how frequently you will post and what about, so that there's value going into the page so that we can really leverage off of the wellness marketplace and make sure that our guys that we're bringing in who are considering using Isagenix can see that this is a great supportive community where they can get support that, you know, other teams may not be providing.
So on that note then, Taz, really important that it's value and not waffle.
Yeah. Yeah, well, all the posts that come through have to be filtered by the, what do you call the
Admin.
page? Admin. Yeah, so all the posts get filtered by admin. And so a couple of times I've seen posts come through and they've been waffly and they haven't really been value-y. And so I'll private message that person and just say, hey, great post, not really suitable for the wellness page, but perfect for the marketplace. Or, hey, great post, if you just added this, it would be way more valuable, you know, until you guys get the feel of it. If you're not 100% sure, I'm going to give you feedback so that the posts are valuable.
Right. Yeah, that's good.
Cool. Okay, well, on that note, let me know if you've got any questions that pop up later. And also let me know if you have, after going through this training today, feel like that you missed out and need some support on the different steps that there are, so that you can get the most out of it for yourself.
Taz, are you going to do a follow on from this to talk about the next step? So when those people get people interested. So the next step.
People get people interested, then you mean like with a customer?
Yep.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep, another system.
Okay, great.
Cool. Okay.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
You too.
See ya.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.